Hello! This video is brought to you by my supporters on Patreon and my members on YouTube. Minasan, arigato gozaimasu. My name is Kurt, and today is the 6th day of January 2024. This is my Good Life meditation. It's an exercise that I do each and every morning a little bit after waking up. It's now 4:57 a.m. I do this to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone, which you can get a copy of if you want from the link down in the description. If you buy a copy, I do recommend the hardbound edition. I also use this time to think about the last 24 hours and how I did with the challenges and opportunities that I met, particularly those which took me by surprise, where I was halfway into it, maybe functioning poorly before I realized what was up and maybe got my footing back, or maybe didn't, as was the case yesterday. I'll have to get to that in a minute. I also plan for the coming day, and then I prepare myself to die. But before I do any of that, I like to read a poem. Oh, and today is day 344 in my countdown to retirement. Good gosh. It's going fast. Today I'm going to, I've completed the complete works of Keats. I didn't read all of the poems. There were a couple of epics in there that I didn't read because they were just so big and I couldn't fit them in this meditation. So I skipped those. I did read one or two, but for the most part I skipped a few of those. But I did read all the little ones, like these. I'm going to reread, and I'm going to give the book away. Josh is going to get this copy, so I'll send this to you, Josh, just as soon as I can get through and record a couple of these. So usually when I'm reading books, I have two colors to highlight. The pink are the vocabulary that I didn't know, that I have to look up after the fact. The pencil marks are my notes. And then the yellow indicates poems that really stood out to me. This one got a circle around it. I haven't read it since I read it. So I'm not practiced at it, and I don't know exactly what the poem is, but let's give it a read. Because I've spun off these little poetry readings. If I can capture a good one, I'll take the snippet and send it off to a new playlist on the YouTube channel for poetry reading. Here we go. John Keats' poem, O thou whose face hath felt the winter's wind. And it says here that there's a note here that it's a letter to J.H. Reynolds, 19th of February, 1818. And it looks like a quote here. I had no idea but of the morning, and the thrush said I was right, seeming to say. Not sure what that snippet means. And I did study that before, so I should, but I don't remember. Oh well, age 60. Here we go. And as so often with Keats, the first line is the same as the title. And there's a word here, Phoebos, here that I marked up that I didn't know, which is the Greece get more poetic art. Something about Phoebus. Oh, god of poetry and art, Phoebus. Okay, here we go. Hope I'm saying that right. O thou whose face hath felt the winter's wind, whose eye has seen the snow clouds hung in mist, and the black elm tops 'mong the freezing stars. To thee the spring will be a harvest time, O thou whose only book has been the light of supreme darkness which thou feddest on, night after night when Phoebus was away. To thee the spring shall be a triple morn. O fret not after knowledge, I have none, and yet my song comes native with the warmth. O fret not after knowledge, I have none, and yet the evening listens. He who saddens at thought of idleness cannot be idle, and he's awake who thinks himself asleep. I see it. I not only highlighted this one, I put a yellow circle around it. This one got me, and then I highlighted this last bit down at the bottom here. I'll read that part again. He who saddens at thought of idleness cannot be idle, and he's awake who thinks himself asleep. Good gosh. That is really good. So a person without recognizing necessarily their own talent or native capabilities, recognizing the spring, they're in the winter time of their creativity. But the spring will come, possibly. And then reinforcing themselves at the end. They're, he who saddens at the thought of idleness cannot be idle. So the very fact that you have that spark within you that 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 pushes aside at idleness is your hope. That's your clasping. That's you're holding onto the edge, ready to pull yourself back up and over. And he's awake who thinks himself asleep. That's really good. Wow. Okay, I'm so glad I went back and tried to capture some of these sweet ones. That's a really good one. Okay, the mark is 6:04 and 12. Okay, let's get on with it. Last night and yesterday. What a day yesterday was. Oh my gosh. It was my Friday on. First week of the new year, and I came back and look at that to-do list. Man, I climbed up on this new year and said, giddy up, yeehaw. And look at that. I think there's a cross over every single one. The only one that didn't get across is this one right here. This is the personal side. This is the work side. So I do cram a lot into my personal day, even though I'm on my work days. That's because I start so early. I get up at 4 a.m. And I just power through all my personal ambitions before the day even starts. And then my 2 20-minute breaks, morning and afternoon, and my lunch break, and then in the evening after my swim, I come home. Yumiko usually works until 6 o'clock. I have another hour that I can usually power through some more additional things. I get a lot done. So I did everything on the personal side except the blinds. You can see this blind back here behind this dude is broken. So there's a guy coming by to fix that. He was supposed to come by yesterday, but he didn't. And then on the work side, look at all the stuff that I did. Wow. It was a productive day. In terms of the personal, I walked like Caesar yesterday. I don't know what's up with that. It's like, especially since I onboarded my belief. I mean, that free will is an illusion. That wasn't a decision. That was just a bang, because we don't decide what we believe. We just believe what we believe. And I have been convincing myself for years now that free will is an illusion. I've even added it to the book, the principle called the Pirate Ride. And suddenly, about a month or more ago, I just suddenly switched over. And I no longer believe in free will. And objectively, to my core, it's gone. And what a change! The religious talk about being born again, right? When you onboard the belief, when you become one of the faithful, and that's exactly what's happened to me. I've onboarded at my core the idea that free will is an illusion, and now I walk like Caesar through the day. I've gone on and I talk about this almost every friggin' day now, so I won't belabor the point, but it's just so astonishing, the positive impact that it's had on my day. And I just have to add the caveat that it hasn't made me apathetic. It hasn't made me give up the day. It doesn't make me want to just sit in this chair all day long and just let the day pass, or to distance myself from my sense of responsibility for my actions or what I do. It hasn't done any of that. In fact, it's hardened it the other way. A little bit like that poem. What did that line say at the end? He's awake who thinks himself asleep. I'm going to add that. Do I have anything for the Pirate Ride? What friggin' timing that is. I'm going to add that here. Let me just take a quick look. Yeah, no, there's just this one little thing in the course of the stream. I'll move that around. I'm going to add that to the book. Excuse me while I make another book, a quote. Add Keats' line to the pirate ride, and he's asleep. And he's asleep. Who? Wait, no, he's awake. Awake who thinks himself asleep. That's exactly what it's like. I'm empowered by realizing that I'm not in control. Well, I mean, I'm a motive engine. I am a biological entity. And I have this seeming sense of directing my life, but that is just seeming. Anyway, I could talk about this all day long. It's become a central tenet of the good life for me. But I'll just linger for just a little bit more about this walking like Caesar. I have sensed since this has happened, and it becomes more so each and every day, that my walking is erect and upright. My posture has improved. Part of the reason is that I no longer sit. That's probably part of the reason I'm standing at my desk all day long now. I've given up the chair. It's been about more than a month now, and I walk like a Caesar, like I said, tall and proud. And but it's not a pride of vanity, or a negative type of a pride. It's a pride of sweet comfort and confidence. The way that the visual picture I have is, I picture myself on an inner tube on a pretty wide stream, a river coursing through a valley, a steep valley with twists and turns, and never can see what's around the next corner, and rapids, and maybe here and there a treacherous little falls at one part of the stream. If you're lucky, you can avoid that, but the course of the stream will take you. The current will whip us around. But what's key is that my hands are tied. I can't paddle. I just drift with the stream. That's what it feels like to go through life like this. I can come up with metaphor after metaphor, example, and simile, to describe this. I don't know if simile is the right word. It just comes to mind, but I didn't have a choice in that. But you get the point. I will talk now about something that happened yesterday, an incident that I'm not proud of. I didn't catch myself, but I'll relate it, shame and all. So we have here in Huntington Beach, I'm sure it's going on all over the place, we have a bit of a circumstance happening with the advent of e-bikes. This is a bicycle community, for sure. And in the past, teenagers would get around on pedal-driven bicycles. But now with e-bikes, they're getting around on electrically. And California lifted the regulation some time back about the speed control. So they're fast. They move like motorcycles. And the boys in particular are very reckless, although the girls are too. I saw 2 girls out in front of the house yesterday doing stuff. And now I'm not faulting them for being youths. That's what they do. Yumiko tells me all the time, she said, wouldn't you do the same if you were their age? And I would. So what they're doing is they're riding their e-bikes very recklessly, high speeds in the middle of the street, blowing through stop signs, blowing through lights. The boys just traipse down the road doing wheelies all day long, all over the place. Now, this is a fact, and the city of Huntington Beach has passed some new regulations just recently that empower the police to make safety stops, to issue citations with a fine. I think it's up like $400, and to impound bikes as well. The main purpose of the impounding is to get the parents to come in so that they have to get the bikes back, and so the police can talk to the parents. And what's happening also in the community is that there are, in the community, the Facebook forum here for Huntington Beach, I'm seeing lots of people posting video clips or photos of teenagers to kind of bring it to the attention, and so the parents can see this. Very mixed reactions on that one. There's the whole spectrum of, some people think that you're doing a community service and doing that. Other people say that you're a narc, and everything in between. It's an interesting thing, and for the most part, I'm just sitting back and watching. I mean, my kid has grown and gone. I'm an old guy. I just watch. But yesterday, two things intersected. One, I've also am totally unrelated. I'm experiencing a resurgence in my YouTube channel due to shorts, which I've recently discovered, and I've been making like 3 shorts a day. So, in fact, I forgot to add that to the list. 14 shorts times 3. I've been adding 3 shorts a day to my channel, and boy, it's having an effect, because these are old content from the Japan days. It's being focused back into the channel, fed back in, and it's my subscriber base is shooting through the roof. My views are through the roof. Everything's up. Monetization, the amount that's coming in every month, is rising as well. It's a positive thing. I look at this as seeding the channel ahead of my arrival back in Japan, when I'll be able to add fresh, new content in high resolution. Totally different thing. Anyway, so what I've discovered is that shorts are popular, and I'm looking for opportunities to capture shorts. Yesterday, as I went off to, now getting to the point. Yesterday, as I went off to the beach to do my ocean swim, swimsuit and towel in the back of the car, driving along, I took a left out of the apartment complex, and right in front of me was a group of 4 boys on electric bikes and a pair of girls on another electric bike. The girls were hanging behind. They weren't doing any antics. Usually the girls don't. They will go fast though sometimes. But the boys were all over the place. I couldn't get past. They were in the center of the road doing wheelies, and they were enjoying it. They were looking back at me, and they were clearly not making way. They were going pretty fast, so I didn't have to go too slow, but not as fast as a car, because they were doing all kinds of antics. Oncoming cars were coming the other way. The boys are getting close to those oncoming. I mean, it was a 3-ring circus. I did a bad thing. Hindsight, I should have known better. I'm ashamed of myself. It was stupid. I made myself just as much a nuisance as they did by what I did. I'm part of my telling you this is to shame myself, so that I make sure I don't do this again. My phone was right there on the cradle. I simply reached over and I grabbed it, turned on the camera, and as I was driving, I held up the camera, and I was videotaping what they were doing without really thinking too much about just why I was doing that. I thought it was interesting. There was a mixture in me of boys will be boys. This is interesting. Wow, look at those wheelies. That's pretty good. I think another part of me was thinking, wow, I could make this into a short. Stupid idea. Another part of me was thinking, I've got it on video. I can post it if I want to the Huntington Beach forum. Stupid. I mean, I'm not that guy either. So, and then there actually was a third voice in me that was saying, catch this just in case something happens. You've got a video of it, right? So, because I mean, literally they were coming, like cars were coming the other way, and there's this thing that they do where they're kind of getting close to the yellow line. It's scary as heck, because it could be a head-on collision and they lose. Anyway, I was doing that, and I hadn't been doing it for more than 5 seconds, and I'm going down the road, following behind, when one of the boys turned and noticed what I was doing and reported it to the others, and they descended upon me. We had made a left turn, and I put the phone away at the cradle. I got uncomfortable, as I should have, and they started talking at me through and I rolled the window down, and one of the boys came rolling up to me, and he said, "Why are you filming? Why are you filming us?" Because I had the window down. He was rolling along right next to me. Good question. I didn't have a good answer, and he then decided at that point to disengage, and he's pulled off, and his friends had stopped. I think I intimidated the bunch when they realized that they were being filmed by an old guy in a black Prius. Probably because rumors are getting out that the cops are cracking down, and because I know that this is happening. I see it often. I see the police pulling these kids over, giving them a lecture, and the police are taking their bikes and issuing $400 citations. So I think that the rest of the group got the idea, and they pulled over like, oh shit, excuse my language, this guy's filming us, what's going to happen, right? And the one more brazen boy came up to confront me. I think in hindsight that he had a different angle. His angle wasn't, why are you filming us for, what are you going to do with that? His angle was, why are you filming us without permission? That came up later. Anyway, he peeled off and went back to his group, and I came up and I went to a stoplight, and I sat there, and I was flustered too, because I'd been put to the task of explaining myself, And I didn't have a good answer. Thank goodness we didn't have to talk any further. I probably would have said something stupid. And I thought about it for the remaining drive to the beach. And I realized that I had got ambushed. I had got ahead of myself. I had acted without thinking and had done something that I wouldn't do, that was stupid. I shouldn't be filming while I'm driving. I shouldn't have been filming even if I was the passenger. I shouldn't have been doing that. Just because I'm not that guy. I don't want to be that guy. Still that little voice inside me says, but it's good that you're catching it in case something happens. Yeah, but yeah. I still have a few mixed motions up on this, but so I'll use this to try to train myself towards a a higher level of maturity, and where I can be in better control of my immediate actions. Train myself to, in such a moment again, to exercise a little more consideration of what the right path forward would be. To ask myself and challenge myself regarding my motivations, and to try to find the path forward and make a better choice. That was a lot to talk about. All right, let's do the Good Life meditation. 8 objectives and 35 principles. I'm going to focus today on the social principle. The social principle is my simple reminder that I am a social animal, that I need to be a part of the overall society, and that the well-being of myself and my family, as well as my ability to reciprocate and improve the well-being of my community, relies on my connection and participation. I'm not an independent unit, nor do I wish to be. Even though I wrote a book called Going Alone is not the full story. The other half of the picture is the coming back and the engaging with the people in my life, and recognizing my decided and necessary responsibilities, especially those responsibilities that I onboard by way of my significant choices to marry and to become a parent. And then to engage with the community, pay my taxes, do my duty, be a pleasant and engaged part of the overall society in which I live for all the live long day. This is a surprise to me because I didn't think I was going to become that person when I set out in life. In young adulthood, I thought I would be the loner. Turns out I'm a man of my community, and now I see the benefit that yields. There's also the benefit of being able to participate in the well-being that is on offer by society by virtue of participation in performance. Namely, I'm speaking here of the benefits of paying into the system. In a modern first world circumstance, there are institutions and systems that will provide us aid in time of need, or in time when we've had too much and we're ready to retire and settle away. In this case, I'm thinking about the pension system that I will soon begin to become a participant of and enjoy, and will see me through financially for the rest of my life, plus the government Social Security that will augment and do the same. Likewise with the medical care that is available to me here in the United States, and also in Japan, where I'm moving by virtue of being a citizen or being a resident there, paying into the system and participating in it. These and other benefits can be had by recognizing our social connection and the need and obligation to participate. But those aren't my first interests. My first interest is to have my shoulder at the wheel. I like to picture it like a giant wheel that's being turned. Imagine horses pulling a grindstone, right? But instead we've got humans, each of us pressing at the beam, twisting the great wheel of the society, the engine of society around. Or working at the coal face. That's another way I like to think about it. Pulling our weight. Not only do we benefit from that, not only does our family benefit from that, and the community at large benefit from our participation, but we can also feel good about ourselves. It feels good having put in. I tell this to my wife sometimes as we walk. We see all these, we go to, today, it's Saturday, we'll go out shopping today. And as we're out doing our shopping, our child is grown and gone. We see all the young adults buying up all the goods that they need to sustain their families. Not in excess, but in just bare necessities, right? Milk, cheese, bread, etc. And I think to myself of all the, or participating, purchasing things and setting up things for their Christmas decorations or other holiday things. And I think they're doing things that keep the engine, the economy of things going to sustain their own families. And I did that too, by gosh. I did my share. I did my duty. I put into the social system as I should. And that feels good, in spite of whether I get any benefits in the end. That feels good to have worked a hard 40 years, good 40 years, honest 40 years, paid my taxes, and I can feel proud of myself. The social principle encompasses all of this. Being part and parcel of the society at large, participating honestly, fully, and completely in my social duty, paying my taxes, voting, participating, speaking up my mind, and doing my decades, in this case, of hard labor. Now, that part of the paradigm may change in the future with things like artificial intelligence coming in. I'm fine to see with any changes that come about. Hopefully they make them better for society at large. I don't feel like everybody else has to work 40 years at the coalface just because I did. If my daughter can be liberated of some measure in some way by virtue of improved technology or social machinations, then that's great. I hope so. I hope she can enjoy life more, participate more, and work less hard. That would be a good thing. Social principle. All right, let's do the good life. I'm going to recite the 8 objectives. Here we go. To be always ready to die, to make good and effective use of time, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, to cultivate good emotional reactions, to perform good actions, to recognize true limits and true opportunity, to do just one thing at a time, and do that thing slowly, deliberately, and carefully, and to maintain my balance. That was fun. Okay, here we go. 35 principles in lightning fast. Now, all of these objectives and principles can be found and they're more deeply and better explained in the book under the chapter, The Good Life. Here we go. Let's see if I can do them all in order. War, reason, homunculus, anchor hold, home of good and evil, purpose, atomic principle, nature, pirate ride, maturity, social principle, family, public speaking, temperance, life will not go well, the horror show, that which must be borne, the feast of offal, distraction, agency, and the great indifference, the best seat in the house, the restless man, the path of wildness, the great life adventure, the risk of avoiding risk, sin and damnation, complete oblivion, the season of philosophy, script writing, the bullseye aim, the uphill climb, arena and utility, nothing is enough, the principle of fun, and being ready. Did I make 35? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Got them. What's up for today? Well, it's a Saturday. It means no work day. Got to get used to this. It's coming. Although I'm more and more becoming convinced that I'm probably going to take on contract work after I retire. Just because I want to keep my skills up, keep my resume. I mean, my resume is sweet right now. I'm at the top of my game. I mean, you look at the jobs in the last decade, that I built, starting at the lower level of an analyst, IT analyst, working my way up to the mid-level, then the top level, and I've been there in separate jobs, and I've just got a whole track record of successes. And my skill set is really high right now. It would be a shame to let that go. And if I could maintain that and tune that, if I can just keep maybe contract work, do work 10 hours a week doing some sort of contract work, plus that will really augment our retirement life, allow us to do all the doing all the refurbishing of the house and everything like that. And so I'm more and more thinking that that's the direction I'm going to do. It's going to be a retirement from full-time work, but keep it going on a part-time level. So this column over here will remain most likely. But it's a Saturday today. I have no work today. Here's everything I have yet to do. Okay, that's a lot. I have, what is that? 20, 15, 16 things I'm going to do today. I already answered all my YouTube. That's done. I answered all my YouTube comments. I'm all caught up on the comments. I'm all caught up on the meta comments, Facebook and Instagram. All caught up on my email. I'll read the Bible in just a minute. Book of Luke. Good Life Meditation. I'll complete that. I'll update my journal. I'll do my assets on YouTube for the Good Life playlist. I'll do 10 of those. I'll do 30. I'll illustrate a page of this book for one of my patrons. I'll do house cleaning. Then I'll go shopping with Yumiko and have lunch together. We'll have a nice lunch together. 20 seconds. So 20 seconds. My friend Glenn over in the UK is asking me to do voiceovers for one of his songs. I'm going to do 20 seconds for that. Then I'll update the poem that I just read. I'll add a little video for that. Add the Keats lines to the book, Going Alone for the Pirate Ride. Then I'll do make 3 shorts. Then I'll do the video for the Boys Will Be Boys, and then the social principle. I have a lot I'm going to do today. It's going to be a busy, ambitious day. So the last thing I need to ask myself is, am I prepared for death? 3 questions. Question number 1. Are my affairs in order? Bam, they are solid in order. Are my relationships sound? Absolutely. Is my life's work complete? You bet. Sure, I can add this poem line to it. I can always be doing little incremental things, but that's all icing on the cake at this point. That book is done. Yeah, I'm done. Affairs in order, relationships sound, book is complete, my daughter's raised. I can die any day now. I don't want to. I want to enjoy the years ahead, some more years ahead, and maybe hope some good decades ahead. At least a good solid decade in retirement. That's going to be sweet. But if I don't, if cancer strikes me and takes me out in a month, or a heart attack or an aneurysm, I'm ready for that too. I'm ready to die now without a single backwards glance. That's a good place to be, especially given I'm on an inner tube floating down a raft, and there could be a waterfall. What's that sound I hear? Just around the bend. And with that, I'll wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe. Take care. I will move forward and up. I will rarely stop, and I will never